Who are we kidding? I'm not going to make you wait another 4 minutes for greatness. Greatness exists here right now. Thank you for joining me. It's 10:30 Berlin time. And what we're talking about today, we're talking about agentic AI through the lens of a hotel operations. Many of you will know that one of my most cherished roles in my career was working for a pretty big hospitality company. You might have heard the word Wyndham. I don't know. Anyway, that really stoked my fire. And I started thinking a few months ago, what about if we know hotels by and large are in the doldrums, so much competition? So much competition. And at the same time, we need to figure out a way to help them. How can technology support the very human world of the hotel? And so today we're going to be talking about a little bit about agentic AI, a hello, an introduction, and laying the foundation, doing the spade work. Because like you, I am very new to agentic AI. We've only been playing in the generative AI sandpit for just over 2 years now, since December 2022. So, there's lots to learn. And today I'm really hopeful that you and I together are going to get a real sense. There's lots of demos, lots of examples, really sexy dashboard that really sort of brings all this stuff together. But I guess first, let's set the scene. And you'll see in front of you a presentation. It's very PowerPointy. To apologize, humor me while we're here. This is essentially all about how we can create smarter and seamless hotel operations. Agentic AI is where you set a goal for an AI agent. An agent is just a code, essentially. Today we're using Python, and that's going to then go off and do the task any means necessary. It's going to be autonomous. It's going to do its own thing. It's going to be connected to lots of tools like databases, information, retrieval augmented generation. You might have your own proprietary knowledge base, so it will hook up to that, it will look into that, and then it will go off and do a query via an API, which is like a connector between computer resources. So it's a bit like a waiter in a restaurant. Your waiter comes to you and says, "What would you like, sir, today?" I would really like a spaghetti bolognese. So the API goes into the kitchen, which is a resource or a server, and it says, "That guy out there wants a spag bol." And then the server of the resource prepares what you want, and the API then takes that dish back to your table. And that's the nature of an API. So it might use an API, it might use what we call these days model context protocol, which is an MCP. You'll have heard this if you're in any way engulfed in the world of tech these days. This is almost like a successor, if you like, or it works hand in hand with a traditional API for the AI generation. So the artificial intelligence agent, the code, will then go to the resource, the server, and say, "Can I have some of this?" And because it uses the same language, a common language, that's what a protocol is. It'll come back to the API, come back to the AI. So many acronyms. Who loves the TLA these days? And it'll say, "Here you go." And then the AI agent will go on its merry way towards completing the task autonomously. And that, in a nutshell, is what we call agentic AI. So proactive intelligence, this means that with agentic AI, the hotel can be a lot more predictive, a lot more proactive. It runs with foresight. And what are the knock-on effects of humans having help? I mentioned yesterday, and this is one of the many applications, there are an infinite number of applications for agentic AI, and it's really quite easy, by the way. So if I'm able to make this work, anybody can. Applications of agentic AI outside of the hospitality world. Well, teachers marking homework, teachers responding to students 24 hours a day, agentic AI. Police following up on information, agentic AI, not having to do all that paperwork back at the station, going out onto the beat, keeping us safe, agentic API. Chefs bringing it back into the hospitality world. They're looking to optimize spend. They're looking at what people have been eating lately, and they're looking at what's in the pantry. I don't know if that exists. This is a Nigella Lawson thing. So again, humour me. They're going to be able to use agentic AI to show what the ingredients are that are available. It's going to talk to suppliers. Suppliers are going to be providing their inventory as well. And then the chef is going to know what they can cook. Creativity is brought back into the kitchen because all of the ingredients there and the advice on which ingredients are on offer or which ingredients are reaching their expiry date, all of that is in front of the chef, ready for their next shift. It just makes things a lot easier. By the way, if you're on LinkedIn or if you're on YouTube, go into the chat. If you've got any questions about agentic AI, ask me and I'll ask somebody who's an expert. Not that they exist yet, but there are people out there. You might know of my current bull, which is Retool Agents. I'm having a lot of fun exploring this new platform that Retool has built. So big up to the guys at Retool if you're watching. Thank you, loving your work, as I am for Zapier or Zapier with its Canvas product, and also it's doing a lot of work at the moment with agents too, as are lots of people. There's so many open source platforms available too, so you really can roll your own. Lastly, obviously, technology does drive growth. And if you bring all of these things together, the guest experience improvements, the efficiency, and just running more effectively using technology, then you've got growth on your hands and you can do a little bit better than the competition, which is always a good thing. So, how do you do this, right? It's all very well talking in the abstract, and we've got demos coming up where I'm going to be able to explain this to you tangibly so you can feel how this benefits you, the organization. Well, so first thing you need to do is take stock of your processes in the organization. We do this at Word of Mouth. Hit me up, Dave at wordofmouth.com. In fact, why don't I put this on the bottom? See if that works. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. There we go. Dave at wordofmouth.com or X me up at Dave Thackeray. That's formerly known as Twitter. So what do we do first? Well, we need to do two things. We need to get our processes in place. So document our entire internal service directory. This is great, by the way, for organizations that are ready for systems thinking. Organizations, by the way, of any size. Doesn't matter whether you've got 5 people working with you or you've got 500 people working for you. You are fundamentally a single organism comprising many, many different nodes, people, processes, products, and it's really helpful. I don't know why this is really annoying me today. There are so many different ways that you can, so many ways that you can document these so that you can think of yourself in a very digital sense, because when you translate what you do in the physical sense, in the GUI sense, that's GOOEY, not GUI, graphical user interface, two very different things, but they make a very good point. Once you move from the physical sense to the digital sense, the algorithm needs to have some sort of a digital document of what your organization is. And that's why many businesses, especially in the manufacturing and engineering sectors, create digital twins of their processes so that they're able to apply what they do in the physical space to the digital space. And really, if you can get to that stage, agentic AI can then be used in a sandbox, in a very safe environment. And you can apply agentic AI to your digital counterpart to see how it works. And you can kick its tires and test it and really figure out the edge cases, where it's bursting, where it's not working, where it's working really well. So you move from the sandbox all the way into your physical world. And that's how success is done. So process analysis, service analysis, and also identifying all of your data sources and how you can export data from these sources. Now, it's very easy these days to create an API from any data set. There are lots of services out there that will provide this for you. And it's very easy for you to do it yourself, or your CTO or your CIO or their team can just create a very simple document showing the nature of the data model of your data set, the source of the data, and that in turn can then be fed through. You can even do this on ChatGPT to create a very rudimentary API that can then live on your server. And the API, like we talked about before, allows your AI agents to very easily work with the data in that data set. So today we're going to be talking about CSVs, which are comma separated values, which are like spreadsheets minus the formatting, so tables of data. And that is essentially what these agentic AI agents will be working with to make decisions, to be autonomous, to decide what to do next, whether they engage a human, whether they bring humans into the loop, or whether they do all the work themselves and just tick a box and let you know at the end of their session whether their work is done or whether their work needs signing off or modifying. So that's really the readiness guide and the data unification, making sure that your data house is in order. And, it's not just about agentic AI. This effort to get clear on all of your data sources and your data sets will help you do so many different things. We're going to look today, the demo, in terms of the customer service bot will be recommending opportunities for improving the internal knowledge base. So there's an FAQ bot, and that will look to answer customer service queries. And if it can't, and if it sees an opportunity for the knowledge base to be improved rather than just lazily asking a human for answers, then it will include that in the report. And that's when the humans step in and go, okay, do we need this knowledge base to be updated, or was this a very isolated incident that could be better handled with human intervention? And that's that. Very short, by the way, this demo. It might feel like it's been going on for about a year, but honestly, we're nearly done. So the ecosystem that we're going to be talking about today, there are 7 different functions that we'll cover today. We might not cover them all in today's session, but they are there to explore should we need to. And if you want to go through this entire hotel operation in the form of agentic AI, drop me a note, dave@wordandmouth.com, or tweet me at Dave Thackeray, and we can get back together and we can go into a lot more detail into this presentation, because I'm aware that this is already running quite long. And honestly, like I said before, I am a journalist. I've been doing journalism things for 30 years. I've been running digital teams for 20 years. I've been working on business strategy for 15 years. I know how these things work, and I know how important agentic AI is going to be in the organization. That's why I created AI Today, a podcast and a newsletter on LinkedIn and over at medium.com. Look me up as well. One of my favorite pieces was about Claude 3.7 Sonnet and how that could essentially keep an eye on your entire code base, no matter the size of your code base. Very popular article. So check out over there. Anyway, these are the 4 of the 7. These are really interesting. So the check-in agent will personalize arrivals. It will take stock of all of the inbounds, as we call them in hospitality world, and it will make recommendations for how housekeeping might want to set up the rooms, or how reception might want to get certain things ready. You might want 7-Up in the minibar. There's little details like that. And this is the reminder stuff. This is just one example of how agentic AI can take a lot of time off the plate of a human and then allow the human to do a much better job at pleasing the guest. Housekeeping agents. If you're at a big hotel, there might be 100+ rooms. You need to make sure that housekeepers are used in the most effective way. I say used because we're talking about as a system, as an organism. I mean, can use their talents in the best way possible, of course. But this is a really good way that the AI agent can take stock of the rooms that have been cleaned, the rooms that need to be cleaned, the rooms that are out of order. Maintenance needs to come in. And again, there's a property care agent that will take care of maintenance. So you can start to see how all of these agents start to play together. And we already covered the whole idea of an F&B agent, which manages all of the inventory in the kitchen. and make sure that the chefs can operate at peak quality. So this is how it might work. So if you imagine that you are a hotel, how might Agentic AI improve the service that you provide, and how might it improve the day-to-day running of the hotel? So there's a VIP guest coming in. What does a VIP guest do? Well, they might have thousands and thousands of points on your loyalty system, which will obviously be managed by AI. Or they might be spending a lot of money. They might be coming in for 3 weeks, or they might be the Prince of Persia. In which case, it's a VIP guest. It's flagged. Reception get to know. At the start of every day, they'll get a report that's been run overnight through AI. AI's been doing a lot of the spade work and looking to understand better how the hotel's running and any support that the hotel might need, support that reception might need, support that maintenance might need, support that the kitchen might need, support that all of these different teams might need. And so the check-in agent has identified the VIP guest. Housekeeping agent has been negotiated with by the check-in agent. This is all done seamlessly, silently, automatically by AI agents. The housekeeping agent has a message from the check-in agent that says, can you please prioritize this room being reset and ready for the VIP guest? This is all done behind the scenes. No human intervention needed at all. The human can intervene and be in the loop, but this is all done automatically. Then there's a welcome drink prepared. This is all part of the manifest that's been generated by AI. CRM data, this could be your loyalty scheme, as I mentioned earlier. The F&B agent makes sure that kitchen or front of house or the bar staff know that a welcome drink is needed at 2 p.m. at check-in to say hello and maybe a hot towel. There's a maintenance issue in the VIP's room. So housekeeping just taps a few buttons while they're there, or there's a sensor or whatever, and then maintenance is pinged by the agent, prioritizes this room. The AC isn't working, the TV's missing a remote control, whatever, maintenance gets straight on it. It's all happening in real time. Or maybe the room just needs some longer term upgrades and is not fit for purpose when it comes to a VIP, in which case the system automatically will reassign the next best room that's available to the VIP. What can you look forward to with Agentic AI? Well, these are 4 great examples. So personalization, the holy grail, something that we've all been looking forward to for ages, is finally possible. And this is great news for everybody. Proactive personalization means that you will keep guests coming back. We're still so early that even focusing on personalization of the guest experience right now is enough to get these people coming back for more. It's that distinction, it's the differentiation. So please do investigate how Agentic AI can make life easier for your team to offer personalization. One of the things that we will explore, again, probably not today because this is running quite long, and apologies, but maybe this is a part 2 that you must attend. There's your teaser. It's like a trailer for a Steven Spielberg blockbuster movie, isn't it? One of the things that the marketing agent does is it reviews all of the inbounds, all of the guests that are arriving over the next days, weeks, months, whatever, flags any guests where tailored offers would be useful. And then the human can sign them off, or the human can ping the revenue management agent with one of the offers that's been proposed by AI. It's a good offer. It's in the spa. It's 30% off treatments. The revenue management bot can consult the budget, the line items, and go, do you know what? Yes, I think this is a great opportunity to bring this customer in, get them to spend money on site and make them happier. 30% off at the spa, negligible for the hotel operator, but a huge benefit for the individual guest. So this is proactive personalization at its best. Hidden bottlenecks. Okay, so this is a good way to keep tabs on the smooth running of the hotel. So it's not easy once you start going above 15 rooms, 15 guest rooms, to constantly keep track of the maintenance that's needed across the hotel. So this is where AI can really work its magic. We have something called predictive maintenance. This is very prolific in factory settings, in manufacturing and engineering, but there is absolutely no reason why it can't be used across many different organizations and businesses, especially in the hospitality world, where everything needs to work seamlessly, silently, silently, invisibly for the benefit of the guest. And these hidden bottlenecks that might previously have stuck in the system for days or weeks or months can be resolved using a priority-based system that Agentic AI identifies. It investigates the price, it tells you how much it's going to cost. If you've got money in the budget this month, sign it off, get the maintenance guy over there to fix the AC and keep people happy, and more importantly, keep those rooms available to sell. We talk a lot in the technology world and in the business world about resource optimization. And this is where staff empowerment really comes in, is that staff are, like we said before about teachers, whether it's chefs, whether it's police, we're all bogged down in documentation. I'm here in Germany. I know what bureaucracy is. I know what it's like to fill in a lot of paperwork when you could just be pinging an email. This is a problem. But it isn't a problem anymore, because all of this stuff can be taken care of using an orchestrator and a supervisor AI model signing off the work. This can all be taken care of behind the scenes without your intervention. It's perfect. So this is where staff can focus on the really high value human activities that AI simply can't do, or shouldn't do, more importantly. And finally, we talked about the knowledge base. AI can answer customer queries and then can propose improvements to the internal knowledge base. Really interesting stuff. So we're finally at the point where I'm just going to give you a quick demo. I'm going to tail off in about 5 minutes and just going to give you a heads up on the dashboard, which will show you all of the agents working in concert, because this is the important thing about agentic AI. It's not just about one piece of code going out and solving a task. It's about an agent, the code, working with other pieces of code and model context protocols. You remember those APIs, working with outside sources, whether they're tools or resources or sources of information. This is where I want to show you the demo, because I think it's just a lovely way of bringing this to life. So KPIs, capabilities, and a central hub. What I'm going to do now is quickly switch my screen across to the demo so you'll be able to see. Oh, this is seamless. I wasn't expecting this at all, but thank you for joining me nonetheless. This is what you might see, and this is all very easy to create. So yesterday, I pulled in 7 different functions. You'll see them over there. You've got the check-in, you've got guest services, you've got F&B, finance and procurement, HR and onboarding, property care, and then you've got an example of personalization. So these are this dashboard was very easy to create. Once I'd created the Python scripts, and I'm working with the right AutoGen, is the name of the open source platform that makes this possible. Once I'd created the Python scripts, I was then able to create a wrapper that you would give to your senior leadership team at the hotel, and they would very quickly get an overview of how all the agents were working with all of your colleagues to create the best possible guest experience. And we know whether it's Lovable, whether it's Bolt, whether it's V0, whether it's Windsurf, whether it's Cursor, whether it's Visual Studio Code with Rue Code or Klein, or Kilo Code is the latest darling, the one that I'm really getting excited about. We know how easy it is to create admin dashboards like this once we've got the source code, which in this case is the 7 scripts that run the different agents that will provide you with this data, or take the data from your hotel and manipulate it so that it creates the outcome that your hotel needs. But you'll see in a nutshell here, I'm just going to switch over so you can see that you've got all of these different updates. You can see very quickly the information that's being taken. You remember before we talked about APIs and the data sources? Well, this is essentially giving you a head up as to how the check-in concierge gets its fuel, how it manipulates it, and what happens once the agent has completed its work. So these tasks that you're seeing here, check-in briefs for staff and personalized pre-arrival emails, these are all the tasks that you've set to your AI agents that you're constantly tweaking and reconfiguring and tailoring and personalizing depending on what the feedback is, or depending on, for whatever reason we talked about before, the sandbox. If you're going to create a very rudimentary digital twin of your hotel operation, these essentially are the things that you can improve on if there are bottlenecks in the system. We talked about bottlenecks earlier. Bottlenecks exist whether it's digitally or in the physical world. So we iron these things out, simulating these processes and the completion of tasks. So right away, I've tested this, all of these Python scripts that I'll be sharing with you. If you'd like them, feel free to email me, dave@wordofmouth.com, or xb@davethackeray. These are the scripts that will do exactly these things, and I've tested them in a variety of different situations. Some of them have agents working together. Some of them have agents working with human intervention. And at the end of the day, these are just many different ways that you can see. And you've got here agent output to give you a sense of what would happen with a checking concierge. Well, Alice Wonderland is staying. She's arriving at 2 o'clock. She's asked for a deluxe suite. She's had quite an adventure lately, so she wants a little bit of peace and quiet. So we're going to put her on the quiet floor. And she likes to sleep in style, so she wants some duck down pillows. Who doesn't? And also, she wants to be able to get up late in the morning, maybe have a late breakfast. These are all the things that the AI has put together. And then you've got the pre-arrival email. Very simple, very simple. You can decide how much data you want to put in this email. The great thing about Agentic AI is there are limitless opportunities, but we're keeping things simple because this is our first exposure to Agentic AI in the wild. And so you'll see there, we've got 3 guests coming in today, and they all have different requirements. And this is exported as data. It will be either exported as a report, which you can manually work with. That is if you're at the far left end of the AI maturity spectrum where you're just dabbling. But there is no reason why all of this can't be automated to the point where it's all on the housekeeper's tablet that he carries around all the different floors, and he knows that Bob needs to be on the ground floor, so he's assigned him a BK 1002, which is let's say that's the room, and there's a pre-arrival email there that will welcome Bob. All good. We've got all your needs taken into account, and really this would be sent out as soon as everybody is absolutely sure that all of this data is in the right place and can be actioned on the day of Bob's arrival. All of these different things now, guest services, it will give you an idea as to how many requests, how many have been resolved by the FAQ bot. And we said before about the knowledge gaps identified. This will then say to you, it's asked for a new entry into the knowledge base. This is all done by Agentic AI, by the way. This is, I created these Python scripts, and I run these Python scripts using a free API key used with Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is Google's suite of LLMs. So I'm able to do all this stuff. In terms of building the apps and stuff, I've got a Perplexity Pro subscription, and I use Gemini Canvas, which is a Google application, to do a lot of the heavy lifting and work for this. But really what you need is an idea. This is just a very working, actionable alternative to vibe coding. We are being purposeful, we're being meaningful, and we're getting into the real meat and potatoes of Agentic AI. So you can start to really see all of the really good information that's put together for this singular dashboard, this control hub that the hotel management team would be able to check out and make requests of as they go. So, conscious that we're now hurtling towards the half-hour mark, I think I'm going to bring it back to the presentation now and just get things finished off. So what are we needing to do right now? Well, we talked about getting the process analysis in place and looking at your organization and looking at all of the services that you run internally. This is all about getting your internal operation in order. Forget about the external stuff, all of the marketing for now. Outwardly, I'm talking about inwardly. So we need to start thinking about, okay, well, what does my hotel operation, what does my business need to do to be more efficient? Where are the blockers right now? Where are the bottlenecks? Where am I spending too much time doing X, Y, and Z? And these could be the primary processes that are ripe and ready right now to implement Agentic AI. So once you understand AI's potential, I think we're off to the races. Cannot reiterate enough the importance of being aware of all the data that flows through your business. Data sources, the data itself, creating a simple data model. And this will help you to take the analysis of the processes and the data and create, at least in your mind, a digital twin of your business, to create a system, to think in terms of systems, because that's when you're then ready to transpose your physical business into the digital world and get Agentic AI to do its best with the data that you've got to free up your people to do great work. Now, in the future, I've got a great data guide that I can share with you. In fact, can I go off piste a little bit here? I don't know if I can. Let's try. Let's see if I can replace my screen sharing. This is the power of, yes, I can. Wow. This is the power of Restream, ladies and gentlemen. I thoroughly recommend this. It's a wonderful, wonderful way to live stream stuff. And this is live on YouTube and LinkedIn right now. As I say, I hope you're enjoying it. I haven't seen many questions come in, so we will carry on and clatter on regardless. This is the AI ready data guide. Happy to share this with you. All you need to do is drop me a note, let me know you exist, and let me know that you, after this demo, are at least considering the idea of experimenting with AI and agentic AI in your business. That is about it. Thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this great presentation. I've certainly enjoyed chatting with you. Looking forward very much to talking with you again in the future, where we'll go into the nuts and bolts. We'll start looking into the code that actually powers that incredible dashboard that we talked about earlier. And like I say, any questions at all that you've got, drop me a note at dave@wordandmouth.com. Delighted to talk about agentic AI until the proverbial cows come home. But until then, thank you for all of your time today, and we will speak soon.